Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we are going to be looking at HBAR. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. So before we jump into the lower time frame analysis, we're going to go over the ideas that we're looking for. So within our bullish count, what we are arguing is that we could actually be looking for a bigger move to the upside here, where we are saying that we're looking for this as a bigger A, B, and a C. If we do see this actually push up towards this 20 cents, then we have the potential that this could be looking to complete into this low and we could be starting to trend to the upside. If we fail, however, to hold this 0356, this would invalidate this idea of seeing an impulse to the upside. So within this count, what we were arguing is that we're looking for support to come in here towards this zone of this 0413 at a lower end, and we don't want to lose this level. If we do see price pushing back down below this 0413, it becomes more likely we're going to see that continuation down. So within this idea of this C wave to the upside here, what we were saying is that what we could see is this develop in two ways. So we're looking for two potentials here, saying that potentially we could have this as 1, 2, and we're looking for this as an A, a B, and potentially a C wave to the downside. So this would still be valid and would mean that we could potentially still see price come back down to this 0485 to this 0434. Now within this count, what we'd be looking for here effectively would be a 5-wave move to the downside to complete this structure. At the moment, we also need to be careful, however, because we can potentially count this as 5 waves to the upside over here, and that would be the bullish count, which is not looking for a deeper drop like this. But even if we do start to drop down here until we actually cross the 0399, we do still have the potential that we could form something like a flat in this area. If we do form a flat and we do look to push down, the most common area that we'd be looking for would be this 449 to this 407. Now I wouldn't really want to come down as deep as that 407 because that would be really close to the invalidation and not very common for a wave 2. Now if we do see something like this and we do move back down into this area here of the 786, which would be this 0434, what we'd be looking for is continuation up in a third wave. Target would be the 0859 if we do get this push to the downside. Now, like I said, there is the potential we could look for a direct breakout here, where potentially what we could argue is that this is either A, B, and C, in which case we could potentially be completed here. And this could just be an A wave, we look for a B wave, and then we see a C wave to the upside. The alternate way that we could look at this is that potentially this could be 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, what we were talking about in the previous video was saying that we could have this yellow box area as a potential support zone. And what we were saying is if we do see price move back down here in 3 waves, what we could then see is a reversal to the upside. So we did come down and we did hit this golden pocket area here. If we do look to push down one more time, we could potentially still look to push towards this 0486. And this would still align with the idea here that this could be a 1 and a 2. Now the way that this confirms is by getting a bigger move up towards this 1618. So this is taken from the low to the high and then back to the low of the wave 2. So if we do see price push down here one more time, this would effectively change this target. What I'm looking for here for confirmation is a move up here towards this 0807, and then that would be looking for that third wave. Then we'd need to see a fourth and a fifth. Now if we did see this move play out in the white count here, we can see that this would actually move us up towards this 1618 of this as a wave 3. Now if we do see price move up towards this 1618 level, this would then imply that we do have this as a potential 1, 2, 3, and then we'd be waiting for evidence of that additional fourth wave and an additional fifth wave. If we do see a move up towards this zone of this 1618, potentially our fifth wave target could be up here towards this 0998 to this 0910. Now if I come back out here and we have a look at this and we throw on that idea of that ABC to the upside, we can see that this would be looking to push us up towards this 1-to-1 level. So if we do just see something like this where this becomes A, we get B, and then we get the C wave up here, effectively what we could be looking for is just a 3-wave move. What we could also get here is that if we do get a 5-wave move up here, we could find support again above this low, and this could then become 1, 2, 1, 2 here, and then we look to push away. So that is our bullish count here. And what we are saying is within this lower time frame area over here, I'm actually going to come down into the 1 hourly here. If we're looking at the idea of this as a wave 2, it is possible that this could be completed already. What we could have here is that in effect we could have this as a W, this is an X, this is A, B, and C. What I'm being mindful of, however, here is that there is also the potential that this could just be an A wave. We get a bigger B wave to the upside, and then we still get that C wave down. So I'm going to be very cautious here between this 0592 to this 0560 area. If we do see price move back up here just in 3 waves, where effectively what we'd be looking for would be that this would be A, B, and C, and what I'd look for as a target, because we'd be looking for this effectively as a expanding flat, then a common target area would actually be towards this 0551. Now this would actually not hit this 0.5 area, and what would be is rather looking to potentially target out this zone of this 0547. But if this is a flat, the most common area we target is between the 50% and the 0.382. So we'll be watching this level here. If we do look to push up higher, then potentially we could see resistance come in some of these higher zones. But once we start to take this high, effectively we need to be cautious, because we could be looking for that much bigger impulse to the upside. But like I said, we're only going to get confirmation of this by getting a bigger 5-wave structure up towards this 0807. Now, if we are arguing that this is completed into this low, we need to protect this low. And what I mean by that is we want to see a 5-wave move develop to the upside here. We want to find support again above this area, and then we want to see price looking to break and continue to push up. If we just see a 3-wave move up, then we need to be very careful here, because this could align with just having a bigger corrective structure. If we see something like this as a flat, then we get 3 waves down, and then we see another 3-wave move up like this. Effectively, this could all just be a bigger corrective move, and we could still look to break down. So we need to be careful of that bearish scenario. As long as we hold this support zone, we do have that potential to push to the upside though. Now, what we need to be careful of within this count, though, if we come out here slightly, what we could be looking for on one of the more bearish counts is that we're looking for the potential that this could be a flat as a 4th wave. Now, if this is a flat as a 4th wave, this would be indicating that we could potentially still see price look to push down towards the 0285 to the 0194. Now, if this is the case, what we'd then be looking for is a 5-wave move to the downside. So if we fail to achieve that impulsive structure here and we just get corrective moves up, which then fail, what we could then see is price could actually start to break down in a bigger way. Now, the way that we'd be looking at this would be that potentially within the structure, we could argue that this is 1, 2 here, and that we could be forming this as another 1 and a 2. It can't be a 3 and a 4 because we actually have crossed this area here of the wave 1. Now, the only way that this would be viable is that either this is 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to see a bigger move to the downside, because what we'd be saying within this idea then is that we would need to see a move down towards this level here of this 0208 to potentially confirm this as a 1618 move. Now, if we do see something like this, effectively what this would do then is this would push this yellow 3rd wave all the way down into this area here, and effectively then we would have this as a bigger impulse. But the reason I'm not too keen on this is this wave 2 and this wave 2. This one is starting to get bigger than the previous one. So if it is looking to break down, what I want to see is price starting to break down directly here and starting to see this 3rd wave actually develop. Until we get that confirmation, we need to be cautious of that idea of that break to the upside. Now, the other way that we could see this play out is that this could actually start to develop as a diagonal pattern, where this becomes our wave 1. We see a 3-wave move to the upside here for a wave 2, and then we see 3 waves down for 3 waves up for 4, 3 waves down for 5. Now, this would be a contracting diagonal typically, and what I'm looking out for here is that if we do get something like this, and this is either A, B, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or alternatively we just get A, B, C here, and we start to lose this level and start to break down impulsively and invalidate these ideas of this bullish count here. What this could mean is that this wave 2 could be here, and we could be looking for something like this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get 3 waves up, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would make our 3rd wave. From there, what we then have to do is watch this wave 2 high, because we're not allowed to cross that area again, and this would align with the idea of seeing this grind down, looking for this 5th wave to end as a ending diagonal. So we need to be careful of this idea. It is still a possibility, and what I'd be looking for here on the shorter term, if we're looking for that more bearish scenario here, is that potentially within this count, what we could have is that this is wave 1 into here, this becomes our wave 2, this becomes 1, 2, and then we're looking to continue to the downside in 5-wave structure. Now, the reason I don't like this count currently is because of the fact that this wave 2 would be bigger than the previous one. Now we could also argue that potentially I'm counting this wrong, and what we could have here is that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a diagonal pattern, in which case this could then become our wave 2, and we'd still look for that potential downside. So the key thing to take away from this is within the yellow count here, this is going to be our invalidation, this 0549, but really until we actually start to break back above this high, we need to be very careful that we don't just have this as a bigger flat correction here, and then we still look for that break to the downside. Now, if we are looking at something along those lines, effectively our rejection area would be here towards the zone of this 0593 to this 0562. So if we just see 3 waves to the upside back into this target box, we need to be careful because this could align then with actually seeing a bigger sell-off to the downside. Like I said, it is also possible within that corrective structure that this could be A, B, C. But if we start to push down past the 1618, it becomes more likely that we're actually going to see this develop as a 5-wave move down. Now, if we start to develop a 5-wave move to the downside here, now the only way that this could remain bullish if we do get a 5-wave move down like this is we'd have to look at this as A, B, C. And that would align to coming back into that idea of this count here, where what we were saying is that this could be our wave 1, this could be A, B, and C for a flat, and then we still look for that wave 3. But what we'd want to do then is we'd want to maintain this area here of this 0434. Ideally, we'd want to hold that level, and then we'd want to see this come down in 5 waves, and then for confirmation that this is actually a flat here, we need to see price break back above these highs. Until we break back above the highs, if we get a 5-wave move down, we need to be careful because that could then align with the idea that we get 5 waves down, we get 3 waves up, and then we look to push down in another 5-wave move, which would then look to take out these lows and look to invalidate this idea of this bullish break to the upside. So just as an overview for what we've gone through today, what I'm looking for here is for as long as we actually hold this low here, this 4 cents, we can look for potential extension to the upside. If, however, we start to break down here and we start to hit some of those more impulsive targets to the downside and we start to lose this low primarily, and after that, if we start to lose this area here of this 0434, then it becomes more likely that we're going to see that continuation to the downside, where this move is either the idea that we are within a diagonal pattern and we're looking for a 3-wave down for this wave 3, or alternatively we are looking at this as a much more impulsive move to the downside, in which case we're going to see a substantial drop here towards us 0208. Having a look at the daily pivots here, what we can see is that the pivot is actually printed lower than the previous day, so this is giving us an initial bearish bias, though we've had a break to the upside now. So if we do continue to hold these central lines here at this 5017 and this 50513, potentially we could see price looking to continue to the upside. What I would like to see ideally here, if we're going to see this start to trend, is price hold this 0526 level. If we do see price looking to push up here for today, other targets for to the upside could be this 0545 and we have this 0553. If price starts to trend, sometimes we can just blast through these price areas, so we need to just be aware of that. If, however, we start to reject here and we lose these central lines, all we could see is price could actually look to come back down into this S1 line, which is sitting here at this 057. Other targets to the downside for today would be this 0496. We have this 0488 and this area here of this 0476. So that would align with the potential here that we could see price looking to break to the downside, where potentially we could argue this is 1, 2, and then we look for a 3rd wave to the downside if we see something like that going on. Now, moving over here onto the weekly, what we can see is that once again we have a lower printed CPR. Now we can see these are very tightly spread, so these typically indicate that we're going to see some volatility coming in. So if we do look to break above this level, then we have potential that we could see price be gravitated towards this 0549, this 0569, and this 0589 as a potential upside target. If, however, we see price fail to hold this level, what we could see is price could then actually reject to the downside. Targets for this week would be this 0489 and this area here of this 0469. Now, when we get extremely tight CPR lines like this, sometimes once again we can move through these targets, so we need to just be aware of that. Having a look at the monthly, what we can see is our CPR actually printed higher than the previous month, so this is actually indicating a bullish bias. Now we need to see whether price is actually going to confirm this and we're going to see price break above these central lines, which are sitting here between this 0.527 and this 0.536. Moving up and finding support above these lines could then potentially mean we start to see price move to the upside here. 0.607 is a target. At the R1 we have the 0.693 and this 0.768 as upside targets for this month. As well as that, to the downside, if we do look to fail to hold this level and start to break to the downside, we have this 0.446, we have this lower level here of the 0.370, and all the way down here we have this 0.286 as a potential downside target for this month. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you will find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.